Hi guys,
Hello,
this is Erica Bear of Men,
and this is Jermaine.
and we're here to do a deep dive on Claudia from Interview with the Vampire, my favorite character.
Okay, all right, I'm ready. Are you?
Yes,
All right. Video.
yes. What's going on?
Nothing much.
So, one of the first things I wanted to do is play the clip of Claudia, and I believe this is right after she was made into a vampire. And I wanted to kind of explore like the dimensions of what's really tragic about her.
Okay.
Come in! Jeez Louise, Melissa, please. I gotta go to bed when the rest of the world wakes up. So there's less kids to play with. But I found ways to fun it up some.
Have you seen my slippers? Under the chair, by the window.
Does every night end like this?
Y'all get tired, but I do.
Why did she talk to the book?
The sun comes up, we go down. That's never gonna change. We got rules, little miss.
Rules are fools, Daddy Lou.
Keeping you safe, little wave.
She talked to the book again.
Why do you talk to the book?
The book is my friend.
The book is her friend.
The book is a book. Good night. Night.
Night.
Put the pen down, Claudia.
Uncle, I got a question. You may me, and you may Louis. Who may you?
When I'm tired, I'm not so kind.
Where are the vampires at?
C'est toi qui lui as fait ça.
C'est une fille curieuse.
They speak in French. They gon' fight now.
Rencontrer un adolescent. Tout ça qu'il faut, c'est remettre une question de l'existence.
Fight sounds funny in French.
Tu as oublié ta jeunesse. Putain de merde! Bonne nuit! Bonne nuit.
If I thought that that was a good scene as far as like kind of showing how it all started, but my question was the biggest tragedy that Claudia wasn't given a choice to become a vampire, or was it that Claudia became a vampire so young?
Based off of the choices, I would say the fact that she became a vampire so young. Um, she fully immersed herself into the reality that she was a vampire. I think she has no regrets, even though she didn't really have a choice or a decision in the matter. It's really, if you think about her character, especially, well, yeah, whether we're talking about the book, the movie, the TV show, um, she seemed to have been limited because of her age and
Mhm.
nothing else.
I found that it was tragic that she was made one because she didn't have a choice.
Okay.
Because even though she was a child, I don't know if children could accept that they would choose it. That they might want to risk becoming a vampire to save themselves in the circumstances that they were in. But I just remember her just feeling so tortured, not having not died once she realized she could never grow up. Because I think a part of being a kid is the wonder of adulthood.
Okay. Really? The wonder of adulthood.
That
It's-
constant, I'm going to do this when I grow up. And you saw how she was just cute and childlike, but we saw how she just quickly, 30 years isn't quick, but she quickly got up out of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but she did. She eventually did. She became an adult in a child's body.
Yeah, but remember she asked who was gonna want her, someone other than a pedophile.
Right. And I think that goes back to um the fact that she was young. Wait, what were your two choices?
Was it that she became a vampire so young, or that she wasn't given the choice?
Yeah. So what did you say?
I said I chose that she wasn't given the choice. Like she didn't see her last sunrise. She didn't
Okay.
get to look and see what her circumstances would be if she should stay alive. And I know that like the way they rewrote it, she was dying.
Mm-hmm.
The first one though, she wasn't dying. Her mother was dead, and
Mm-hmm.
she had whatever was going on too, but she wasn't dying. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
She
if
was
it's
going to die. She was going to
I
die
don't know if
because
it's
she wasn't
like that in
eating.
the book.
She was going to die because she wasn't eating. Um, and no one thought to even go into the house. Um, I believe in. I might be getting the book mixed up with the movie. But the house had been not quarantined, but like people were told not to go into the house because people had died from a disease, and so no one was even going in to check on her.
Hmm.
I guess assuming that she had already died, and so she was going to die, no matter what. I think the circumstances changed between the television show and either the book or the movie. I don't remember the
Yeah,
difference.
she was burning in a building.
Hmm. Um, yeah, no, I just think I think Claudia's issue had more to do with not the choice, but the fact that she was young. Um, she she said so like a kid wouldn't necessarily know that her her vagina would snap back every
Mhm.
time. um
Every time,
what'd you say?
every time.
Every time. um or that she wouldn't be given the opportunity to create her own vampires.
Hmm.
I don't think that I don't even yeah, I don't think that they would have even been able to answer that question. Definitely not Louis, and I doubt even Lestat would have even thought about that. Um yeah, I think for her, I think her biggest issue was the fact that she was young.
Hmm.
Not the choice. Because she acclimated like far better than Louis, and even though the show never really shows it, she acclimated far better than Lestat did.
Mm, okay, well that's good. All right. The, the next clip.
Episode 6.
Yes.
This okay.
But I have a capacity for enduring. It's why I don't particularly like being abandoned.
Kill Infinite.
Years accumulated in the small city were catching up to us. Our home was often vandalized. Cowardly warnings suggesting we were no longer welcome.
I wish we weren't rolling.
Why? Why? What's up? Was that not the right order?
No, I don't think I knew that was the part that I got. But it's okay. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Um, had Claudia managed a love interest with Lestat have had to die?
Say that again.
If do you think if Claudia would have managed to create her own love interest, do you think Lestat would have had to die?
No, no, not at all. I think Claudia would have been content to let Louis deal with Lestat, um, because definitely Louis would have let her go, right? Louis would have been like, okay, live your life. Um, and if
Yeah,
she
I think watch your face.
and if she were given the opportunity to then live her life, then she would like, I'm not going to say that she wouldn't care about Louis, but whatever happens between the two of them, it happens between the two of them. She might not have even known what was happening between the two of them outside of the time that she spent with them.
Do you think part of her discontent was the loneliness then?
I think what she did not like. I mean, it was kind of shown in the show. So she wanted to know more about vampires. She wanted to know who they were, what they could do, what they probably shouldn't do. And Lestat just wasn't giving her any information, and she felt like there was some vampire out there, or a group of vampires who could fill in those blanks. I think from her perspective, Lestat wanted Louis, and he knew the only way to keep Louis was to keep her, meaning Claudia, in the picture, and she wasn't like that wasn't good enough for her. She wanted to be able to live her own life, on her own terms.
Yeah, I think that's what I loved about her the most. I did also feel like all of this happened because one, she was so young, and because she couldn't have companionship, or they didn't have like a coven, if
Mm,
you even call it a coven, a clan of
mm-hmm,
vampires to like for her to attach herself to, because it seemed full of despair if the only two people in the world you get are those two people, and you see that they have love
mm-hmm,
and affection, and who do you at least talk to when they're
mm-hmm,
not,
mm-hmm,
in each other's face? You
mm-hmm. When they're not rocking coffins next to.
Yeah, it's like, well, and then it's almost like even the only child never really wants to be the only child. They
Right.
need companionship, somebody to talk to as well. So it's interesting like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely feel that. Hey, Fifi.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because it wasn't working last time.
All right, Fifi, with the new do.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I'm about to go get me a nice little sew in this weekend.
Well, you look pretty either way.
So we just saw our second clip. Um do you want to see this the clip that we were talking about, and
Mhm.
perhaps all right.
Yeah.
But I have a capacity for enduring. It's why I don't particularly like being abandoned.
Kill Antoinette.
Years accumulated in the small city were catching up to us. Our home was often vandalized. Cowardly warnings suggesting we were no longer welcome.
I don't know why my camera keeps going off. Okay. So this is when he first came. Is this when he first came back? Or when because he looked beat up.
I think
I'm
this
trying
is
to
when they
remember.
told her. I think this is after they made love, after he swam through the Mississippi.
And they told him the rules that he
Yeah.
needed to abide by. Okay. Yeah. I think the thing that stood out to me the most on this is when she looked um at what's the boy name? It's been so long since I watched
Louis.
this.
Louis.
when she looked
Lestat?
at Louis, like looking at Lestat, she's like, "Oh shit, this nigga falling in love again." Like it kind of made her be like, because at that point, it was just her, it was just Claudia and Louis for so long, right? But then the way that he was looking at him, it made him like kind of feel sad for him, I think, or like he could remember the love he had. And so I think at that point, Claudia knew, like, okay, this is where she's like, I need to make some changes, because if we don't make some changes right now, like this is going to keep happening over and over again.
Yes. And the question was, had Claudia managed a love interest, would Lestat have had to die?
If Claudia had done what?
Managed a love interest.
If she fell in love with someone.
Yeah. No, I don't think he would have had to die, because I think she would have had her own person, right? But at the same time, the love that she had for Louis, because I think over time it turned into like a brother sister type of love that she had for him. I think she still would have, like, Lestat still would have had to die because of her protection, the love and protection that she had for Louis. So I don't know if like her having her own love interest would have like protected, um, would have taken away like the love that she also had for Louis and wanting him to like be protected and safe from Lestat, because she knew who Lestat was. She knew he wasn't going to ever change, and that he was going to, be abusive and all that to Louis, I think.
To them both, really.
Yeah.
Because she was like, fine, I'm leaving. You can have him. You know where to find me when he breaks your heart again.
Mm-hmm.
When he messed with her, it was like, I tried to leave.
Mm-hmm.
You can have him. Now you messing with my space.
Yeah. But we know Lestat was like, nah, you got to stay here, because that's the only way he going to actually deal with me is if you're here.
Yep. You know he start tripping when you gone.
Yep.
Okay. Let's let the next clip roll.
That's a blue, an old rose.
No one here wishes to speak with you.
But I know he's upstairs. I can see his silhouette. So perhaps we should let him decide if he wants to see me or not.
How's that for an answer? I felt a funeral in my brain. She also wrote one called A Coffin is a Small Domain. I mean, come on.
Emily Dickinson is not a vampire.
How do you know?
Because she's dead.
How do you know?
She got a grave, she got a tombstone.
So do you.
25 horsepower Rolls-Royce 6-cylinder engine. And a front end they call a coffin nose. Isn't that rich? This one's yours. Mine's back at home, in blue. I'm back in town permanently.
Were you gone?
Across the river in Algiers. Louis, I don't know what possessed me that night.
3 years ago. That night 3 years ago, he means.
I was someone I don't want to be anymore. I've changed. Let me prove it to you. I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without both of you. If you want me to go away, just say so. I'll obey you. I'll live your life forever. The silence is cruel. You are never cruel.
For 6 years ago, these raw and desperate vehicles came like the tide. And for 6 years, they were greeted with silence or fire. We burned more gifts than bodies in that decade.
Okay, so that was a clip of Claudia fiercely defending Louis,
Mhm.
as any loved one would. And my question for that was, well, Was the love Claudia felt for Louis her downfall? And was it the same downfall for Lestat?
That's a good question. Oh, okay. Hmm. I want to say yes, it was Claudia's downfall because it's kind of like this how, like, you have that one friend who messing with this guy,
Mm,
and like we everybody know, hey, he not good for you, like stop messing with him, but she keep doing it and she keep going back. Eventually, like, you're like, hey, I actually can't continue to see you get hurt like this, like I'm not gonna do that, right?
right.
I think for Claudia it was her downfall because it didn't matter, like it didn't matter what all she did. Like, I think Louis knew that she loved him and stuff, but at the same time, I think that the love that he had for Lestat was kind of stronger than what he had for Claudia, just because of like the romantic love. I
Yeah.
think had she, I don't know, I think if she would have left and stayed away, yes, Louis would have still been hurt, whatever. But I think eventually, like, she could have moved on with her life. For Lestat, though, I don't know. I think for me, looking at that scene, at those different scenes of him keep trying to like get Louis to love him back and give him another chance, it feels genuine. It looks genuine. But I feel like at the end of the day, Lestat is just still so selfish. Like, at the end of the day, he wanted Louis as a companion. He wanted him for selfish reasons.
On his terms.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it was Lestat's downfall because yeah, I think for Claudia, yes, but Lestat, I don't know.
So how was it? What was Claudia's downfall?
Well, they haven't gotten to it in the show, and we don't know what direction they took, but they kind of make it seem like she's dead.
Right.
And we know from the movie that she was definitely murdered by other vampires for even attempting the
Yeah, but
assault
I think
on.
we're gonna see that in season two.
Yeah, I'm basing this off of what we already know about the interview with the vampire.
I'm hoping they change it up a little bit and keep
That's
her.
why I said we don't know the way they talk about it with the pages missing, and how it's so difficult to even mention her. It kind of seems
Mhm.
like it's going in the direction that she's dead.
Yeah.
So if she's not dead, it's going to be really, really cool and interesting to see, well, what are they going to do with her and her character. But I mean, for based off the book and the movie, she died.
Do you
Right.
mean do you mean in present day 2022 she's dead? Is that
Hmm.
what you mean? Or are you talking about shortly after the scene that we just saw? Like maybe 2, 3 years after that?
I'm talking about based off of what we know about the movie
So,
and the
like,
book and
yeah,
how the story plays out. So what we're saying, are they gonna still kill her off? And if so, is that her downfall? And if they don't kill her off, well, then what's going on?
No, I think she's I think she's gonna die. Um, is it her
Because they talk
downfall
about
or is it Lestat's downfall? I think ultimately, I don't know. I think it's both of their downfall. Um, I think her need to protect Louis is an unselfish love. Um, yeah, there are strains of that. Like she wanted her own freedom, but she also wanted Louis' freedom as well. I think she felt Louis deserved his own freedom. It was clear that though Louis loved Lestat, it was no longer benefiting Louis.
hmm
Um, I think more than anything, though, I think it was Lestat's downfall. Clearly, Lestat is not going to die, but he lost. He will eventually lose both of them because he couldn't learn to change.
So you're saying the loss of it's Lestat's downfall, the biggest downfall because he couldn't change?
Yeah, I think more than anything, it'll be Lestat's downfall. Again, he's not going to die. Um,
Oh,
but
yeah.
when I think about the trajectory of Lestat, He really genuinely, I feel he genuinely wanted to live the rest of his life with Louis. But if he could have just mustered the will to change just a little bit, he could have had Louis.
I agree.
I think it was her downfall. I feel like her coming back and protecting him and then him taking him back was like, ooh. After she nursed him back to health after he dropped you out of the sky, and her literally, and her fierce defending of him, and I felt like when she was gonna leave, that was perfect for her. But the fact that she wound up in a situation where again she's gonna protect herself and protect Louis, especially so much so that she's gonna not even tell him. You know what I'm saying? Not even
Right.
allow him to know what she's thinking. I think just being in the situation where she had to kill him in the first place from coming home in the first place because she didn't come for Lestat, she came for Louis.
You know what? In this moment, I'm thinking she thought so much about Lestat and what Lestat would do. She didn't think enough about what Louis would do
Mhm.
or not do.
True.
And another thing that in this moment, as I'm standing here, I'm thinking to myself, "Whoa, hold up, wait a minute." They went 3 years without really being in Lestat's presence. Why in those 3 years did they not say, "Okay, let's go somewhere"? Because Louis had healed. They could have left. Why didn't they leave?
I think it's because they probably didn't realize what their options were. Like still back during this time, there's still a lot of racism. Like Louis Lestat was the one with the money. Like that was their home. That's probably all they
Louis had
had.
money. Louis
Yeah,
had money. Not as much money
I
as
thought he
Lestat had.
lost it though because when the club got shut down and stuff.
Yeah, but they were living off both their money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it
Okay.
wasn't just Louis.
Right. Okay.
he still didn't leave, and he could have.
They
Yeah.
really could have. And she kept saying, "Let's go."
hmm They could have gone to Paris on their own. They would have died, but they could have gone to Paris on their own.
I mean, so the story is written that way, but of course, obviously they're gonna make some type of detours, but I don't see in any way her being alive. I think they're gonna give us the tragic ending of her character and let us all feel it and get emotional. But like, if we're gonna be, and the way they're talking about it now is as if she is absent from the earth, like he finds it really hard to talk about her, and they kind of discarded the first story as being a lie, right? That Louis told, but they put some truths in there at least about like he knows about Claudia. You get what I'm saying? And going into this interview, he knows about Claudia. He's looking for her. He's going through her diary pages. He's seeing stuff is missing because he's knowing this is my only proof that this being existed. And that I can fact check everything he's saying. But why would you go through all that if she's still there? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm saying I'm thinking at least I'm thinking she's dead in this narration, and I'm thinking that the interviewer is thinking so too. So that's where the question kind of came from.
Gotcha.
Okay, you can play the next. It should hopefully it's the last clip.
Mm.
The ending is it the clip?
No, you got one. Oh, your your 4 minute ones. Okay. No, you have two more then. You have two more.
Okay.
Episode 7. Oh no, you have an episode 6. Um at 26 minutes 14 seconds.
At 26 minutes.
Uh-huh. But
Well, clearly don't play that.
why would you? No, not 26 minutes long.
Oh.
At 26 minutes. Between
Oh.
26 minutes and 29.
Is this the last one?
No, you got two more.
What episode is the last one? Is it the final episode?
Episode 7.
So do you have that a clip from episode 7, like right at the end?
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's play that one.
All
Just
right.
that one.
Size of Kevin Durant's sneakers. Enough blood in them to bring back the dead, especially one in a trunk with locks on the inside. You knew it, Louis. You had to. The biggest rat eater of them all.
The session is over.
How many days in the Islamic year? How many names are there for Allah?
355 and 99.
Why does a 200-pound bouncer pass out after he sucks him off? And you, a wet t-shirt away from 130, doesn't even blink.
I couldn't burn him.
But Claudia could.
No, she couldn't.
She stuck a pen in his neck. She recorded his last words in his own blood. The girl did not have a fucking problem tossing him on the grill, okay?
The sun's coming up.
No.
We have to burn him.
No.
It's the only way we'll know.
No! I said no!
Was it raining, Louis?
She couldn't burn him.
You cursed her into the darkness. You chose Lestat over her time and time again. You don't need a memoir, Louis. You need 100 sessions of EMDR. You know the shit they put soldiers through when they see one of their platoon buddies get blown up in front of them?
Watching that just made me see things a little bit different.
Yeah. Whenever I asked if it was her downfall, like
Mhm.
loving Louis,
Mhm.
yeah, that's why I was making that face, because I was like, that might have been the one.
That okay. Number one, yes, the downfall. Number two, it made me really think about the fact that like what you said was she thought about Lestat's every move, right? But she wasn't thinking about Louis. I don't think she realized, like she knew that Louis loved him, but the fact like him crying over his body like that and refusing to let him burn her. When I think back, I remember whenever in detail, like Lestat walked Louis through, here's how we get rid of the body, here's how we burn them. If we burn them, they won't come back to life, whatever. And he knew that by burning the vampire, they won't come back. They never really went through that with Claudia, did they? Like she knew that they were helping to get rid of the bodies, but she never knew how. Like even when they burned the boy that she really liked.
Oh, you mean they never explained what? Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and so by like she wanted to burn Lestat, but Louis wouldn't let her. But I don't think she realized, hey, if we don't burn him, he could come back to like he could get something and come back. Like the only way to kill him is through burning him. And so I think that Louis, in the back of his mind, he knew that. And I think he knew like this is going to be dangerous for her later, which is why he feels so like towards the end, which is why he still feels so guilty, because in the back of his head, he knew what he was risking by not burning Lestat.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Now that makes me look at Louis a little differently because I really like Louis.
Mhm. I did too. And then I remember thinking, I couldn't imagine being on a trip with you after that, knowing that we just did all of this to this man. If he comes back, he's going to kill me.
Right.
He love you. He's
It's-
going to kill me.
It's quite possible that she thought that Lestat was dead.
I think she did.
Yeah, but
I think
said
she
to be
does.
sure. She
What'd you
trying-
say?
She said to be sure. She trying to burn him to be sure.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she knew something. You know, she wanted to be rid of him. Like,
She wanted to get rid of him in every way. But look, if you read the book, just by burning a vampire, that doesn't get rid of him.
What gets rid of him?
You gotta spread that ashes. Because if that ash that it's like ashes are magnetic and they're trying to find each other. And when those ashes find each other, then the vampire can be reborn.
Oh, that's weird.
that's it's kind of cool too, but not if they were burned by the sun.
It depends on how old the vampire is, or how strong the vampire is. Not necessarily how old, but how strong.
Mhm.
And Lestat got the blood of Acacia. Lestat is strong. Lestat minus Acacia, he's the strongest vampire on Earth.
Mm.
Mm.
She drank her husband's blood, right?
Say that one more time.
Acacia drank her husband's blood.
Yeah, that's a little bit later in the
Like
story,
the
though.
infinite one. I
It's a
read
little,
that.
yeah.
That's the book I read.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's the only one I remember.
Hmm.
I
So he's
had
kind of like the original, right? Like the originals. The show.
He's not the original,
But he's
but
descended from one of the originals.
descendant is no, not quite descendant, but by drinking her blood, that makes him exceedingly strong. And most of
Okay.
the other vampires that either the two of them made have already died,
Mhm.
and so that then makes him, the most powerful vampire besides the two of them.
Okay.
okay. Um, I damn near want you to play the other clip to see if that was, if I can ask the last question, because that one
Okay.
kind of you backed off the.
Okay. How about I play it and we see? Remember, I can edit all of this.
Okay.
Odds are a town away, done by design. He wanted us to discover it.
But why?
Because he's all kinds of fucked up. Because he would have killed her in a second if he thought I'd take him as he is. And I probably will.
So you ain't gonna tell him that you know about it?
What difference would it make?
There's a train leaves every night for New York. We could hide out in Harlem for a few, then hop on a boat. Take us anywhere we want to go.
Anywhere sounds like nowhere.
Prague, Bucharest, Varna, Celestia, Ploiești.
Funny sounding towns.
Ancient towns with more like us living in them. And they can't all be like him. Or him. We can get on that train, Louis.
Louis. The numbness remained, hardened somehow into a disassociative shell, a vessel of acceptance, a tortured rationalization. This life, it does a number on the head, on the soul, if we even have a soul. We can say that won't be us, but every night I feel a little crazier.
And off to Antoinette.
I'll see you above that door.
Give us 100 more years of this. Taking anything we want, killing anything in front of us. No one says shit about it. I can see us just like him. I can see it, Claudia.
Well, I can't. Train's leaving in an hour. Get off that bench. Ziua, mă cheamă Louis. Care e drumul spre Becul Castel?
I can barely speak French and English. I just hold you back.
When he hurts you again, and he will, come find me. I'll be in
Prague. Bucharest. Varna. Silistria.
Ploiești.
Could never get that one to tumble out. Right. Hey, sis. You don't need me. You think you do, but you don't. You're smarter now. You see trouble coming a mile away.
Okay. Yes, I can. I can ask the question. Um, does Claudia prove that Lestat taught and molded her into the perfect vampire daughter he always wanted her to be, or did she become Louis' perfect daughter instead?
Oh, she's been molded into the daughter that Lestat always wanted. Uh, better than he even thought because she bested him.
Hmm. Hmm.
Can't back baby into a corner.
Mm.
I think, and I was the other part or the other question was that she just became that herself.
No, but you can go there with it. I like that.
Well, because I'm thinking like I think that I don't know if I would say like he molded her. I think that she kind of had no choice but to transform based on what she knew him to be. And based on what happened to her with that other vampire when she got raped, it's like she had to realize like actually this is what the world is and I have to kind of just adjust right to what it is. But I, I think that I feel like when you mold somebody to be like you, it's like you're being very intentional with that. For him, I don't think he was being intentional for to mold her into anything. I think she was just like, you know what, I need to do this for myself because if not, we're never gonna be able to get away from him. Which is why she had to kind of be two steps ahead of him and like be smarter and really she had to pay very attention to his every move to be able to like do the things that she did towards the end of the show, right? Or
Mhm.
of the season. So I think she did that. I think it was more so of her like coming into her own and realizing how she needed to change to be able to get out of that situation.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
like the way you look at it. Um, the way I saw it was kind of just, of course, I always play back like what I do, the little things I do know from the at least the movie, and then how they played with the character in this one. Um, I felt like she was everything he wanted her to be. He just never expected her to turn on him, you know? Because again, when you're he just being himself, and his self is selfish.
Hmm.
And a lot of times it's just like with that tough love parenting, you're like, hey, it is what it is. Take me as I am, but what happens when the child doesn't?
Mhm.
And they grow up
Right.
with all these like feelings that you can't manage. And you're just like, whatever, like how they feel is how they feel. It's like, no, it's like when you said he never changed, Jermaine, he didn't. And his inability to change just forced her to level up on him. It just forced her because she could have left, especially when we think about how they're playing her character now. She could have left,
A
but
part of me,
you wanted to see her.
yeah,
I just felt like, and to see her, I mean, in order for her to make him see her, she had to be him.
I
It's
think,
almost like you become what you don't like.
yeah. For me, I don't know. I feel like he tolerated her because
Of
of
Louis.
Louis. I
Hmm.
don't know. I wouldn't even think. I don't think that he ever had any like genuine like love for her. I think it was because there's nothing like when I think back to the show and like Claudia's character in Lestat, there was I don't know there wasn't it was never loving to me.
It was to me. I think he had adored her in a way at first. I think he did, and I think he just didn't latch on to it the way Louis did
Hmm.
because he didn't need it. So he
Yeah.
didn't act like he needed it. You know, I thought
Hmm.
he like when remember when he took her out hunting
I
and they
yeah because that's what came to my head just now.
of course that's when she realized she wasn't gonna become a woman and
Hmm.
that she didn't have like that kind of thing to look forward to in her life and it made her a little nutty.
Right.
But after it made her nut, it made her nutty, but it was again one of those times where that was his bonding experience with her because he was proud that she didn't
Hmm.
want to be like Louis and eat rats because fooling around with Louis, she'd have been stuck with
Yeah,
animals. You know what I'm saying? And that would have irritated, it would
I
have
remember that.
it would have just vexed him so much. So I mean, I think he did invest as much as he could in the role. I mean, y'all
Mhm.
never heard of Bad Parents? You just
But
feel
at
like,
one point, didn't he consider like killing her early on? He was like, "We got to get rid of her." I feel like I remember that.
in the show,
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Do you?
I don't remember that. I remember him saying that he wasn't pleased by her or something to that, but not necessarily like we gotta kill her.
Not kill her, maybe, but like I think initially he was like, "We can't keep her." Like, I don't know. I feel like
What
maybe
was it when she was killing people and throwing them in the water?
like
Is that what you mean?
when she first woke up from being like severely burned and stuff from the fire where Louis saved her from.
Hmm.
I feel like at some I
Oh,
don't
he
know.
didn't want to make her. He didn't
Yeah,
want to
I
make
know
her.
he didn't want to make her because I
Okay,
think
yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
he knew. I think he knew better. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of those. I like this ain't we don't. You know, like he might not know everything about being a vampire, but I know it's probably been something where he's realized like shit, kids can't probably be vampires. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then like watching her go through it and be childlike, I think that was a nuisance for him, but in
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
still in a loving
Yeah.
way, but him still not understanding it. Like more looking at it like this is, like she's my pet, but not
Right.
fully realizing like she's gonna grow up. I think he invested in it once he found out she was a hunter and that she didn't mind eating
Mm-hmm.
So
people.
for me, as it relates to Lestat and his affection and non-affection towards Claudia, if you read the book, he got absolutely no affection from anybody in his household, not from his dad, not from his mother,
Oh,
and
so he
not
gave
from his brothers and sisters. So he was like that red-headed stepchild who wasn't red-headed or stepchild, but lived in the house, right?
Okay.
They treated him like the other. Like, you want to read? What? No. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're a duke or earl or whatever it was that he was, but they had no money, right? And
Right.
so it forced him to go out and kill wolves.
Mm,
Like it forced him to do things that he you know what I'm saying? Like he was risking his life for his family that gave him no love. They
Right.
treated him like this was what you were supposed to do. So he didn't grow up in a situation where love was given. So he's not going to know to give love
So even
yeah,
in the
that's what he
book,
looks like.
he didn't give her love.
or what it looks like.
I don't think he knew how. That's why whenever you said you felt like he didn't want to be bothered, I'm like, I don't think that was it. I think he was being bothered and he thought he was doing what he was supposed to do. You
Mhm.
know,
That makes sense.
like what do you want? Like that's why I think he's so annoyed. Just you going into his background, like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. What is
Mm-hmm.
like? What is your problem? Like y'all
Mhm.
always have problem with me.
Mhm.
Like, you don't know nothing. Duh, like
Right.
you're
Right.
withholding. Or I just don't know, and you guys keep pushing like I'm lying. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
And
wouldn't
you
it
know,
be easier for them to have read his mind? Like, God, if they could have, they'd have known he'd be like, I don't know, and I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
care.
yeah.
Right.
It's funny. I guess as you were talking, like I was reflecting. He would ask his family all kinds of stuff, like, "Hey, what if we do this? What if we do that?" And no one ever like responded to him. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Claudia asking him questions, Louis asking him questions. Everything that everybody in his family did was deflect and tell him that he was stupid. And if you think about it, that's what he did with them.
Hmm.
Yeah, he did.
Hmm. Like y'all worried about the wrong thing. Let's just try to enjoy ourselves and have a good time. Like this is ridiculous. We have
Right.
money.
Hmm.
We have this. We have that. Like we're fine. Like
Hmm.
like what are you worried about this for? Why are we dragging this out? You ever met a person who's just like heck bent on it doesn't matter if you if you're having a bad time. They just really wish that you knew how to manage the fact that you were having a bad time. Like, oh, you're down today. Okay. Well, let's get happy. You know what I'm saying? I know you know people like that. Like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, joy is a choice. So
shake that shit off. Like,
Yeah.
nah, I got I got real problems, and
Yeah,
you
that's
telling
like
me to shake this shit off. Tomorrow, I'm gonna still have them problems, and I'm gonna have a headache, and I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be worse and less money now.
and
Right.
now they're still like, then we'll figure that out tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna need you to choose it today. That's kind of how he rubbed me when I was watching it. I think that's part of what made me like him. Just his interaction with, like, just the way he handled Claudia reminded me of like a tough,
He was very blunt.
yeah. I have relative, but men are blunt. Like I have relatives like that who are just like, stop all your whining. Life's not
Hmm.
fair. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Like you're upset.
Yeah, he does give that for sure.
Like, you're upset. Okay, you'll get over it. And that's just
That's
like how they
funny.
are. And it's like that's what he very much gave me. Like I don't care. And I think that's what drove her crazy. Like, why are you like this? And it's like some people are like that,
Right.
but all she had was him, and he
What do
was
you
just
think? What do you think Claudia would have done if she were in that same situation with two male father figures, but none of them were vampires? What would she have done in a situation like that?
if she was still a vampire or not a vampire.
None of them were vampires.
Oh, she'd have probably still went crazy because Lestat just seemed like he was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get over yourself. And then you got the one that's doting. You have to have somebody there to push off the energy. And I like how they made the dynamic like one doesn't, one's giving the bravado, the other one's giving the nurture. You got to have that
Mhm.
balance. But I think she was feeling resentful at the one with and then
Yeah.
she's a girl too.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
wait, are you saying if like they weren't vampires and she wasn't a vampire either, how would she have
No
responded?
one was a vampire.
I don't know. I feel like little girls like they cling to their fathers, and so okay, thinking of like two gay men already, they have like a different connection. I think with the girls than they do with like other like little boys and stuff. Just because little girls are so like loving and they just love their fathers. And
Yeah,
I think of like the two dads on Modern Family with their daughter Lily,
I've
and
never.
how you never seen it. They were just like she could do no wrong to them, right? And so I feel like with Claudia,
They
it
were
was
scared of
kind of,
her. They were
huh?
scared of that little girl.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like Claudia, like it would, like she could have everything she wants, like she could do no wrong. They just want to make her happy. I feel like that's how it would be if
Well,
they
that's
weren't
how it
vampires.
started, even with them as vampires. That's why I'm like, they were like, oh, she needs her own
Okay,
casket.
yeah, she needs her own. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
They
gave her
had
her
her
own
all
stuff,
dressed up.
Oh, the
and
only reason they did that was because they wanted to be able to do their due without
They
her
needed
right
a shake
next to them. That's all that was.
They
mm-hmm.
needed a shake shack.
That's
But
funny. I
I think she would have doted still on Louis.
I agree with that though. I agree.
I think
Why? I don't know, but yeah.
it's that tough love. Most women, little girls don't like the stern. Cause see, he was acting like a dad. The other one was more acting like an authoritarian.
yeah.
She's gonna charm the one she can charm. And then he was the one into the parenting more anyway,
True.
to be more affectionate and loving. So I think it would always been Louis. I mean, wouldn't it always be Louis? He's so cute.
He is, man. I ain't gonna lie. Louis is, oof. But you know what? Lestat, the vampire, he's not attractive to me. But the character, I don't know. It's something he's. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's something about his face that throws me off on the show. But behind the scenes, when he was like interviewing for shows, I was like, okay, that's a different person. He looks really good.
Yeah.
But as a vampire, I don't know. He it throws me off a little bit. But at like his humans, like for real life stuff, he's very handsome.
Baby, he is giving me sex god.
No, okay. This is never mind. Now I'll tell y'all
The
when we done
fat
with this.
gives me sex God with them little eyes. I'll be like, ooh.
I don't know. It is. I don't know.
Good on
It freaks me out. But even like Claudia, like I really like. The biggest thing about Claudia I love is her accent. She's like, "Come with me, come with me to New York."
I thought she was just pretty as can be. I said they
Yeah,
found a real pretty one.
them little curls, how they had her
Yeah.
dressed.
Because when you guys are gonna recast as a with the Claudia, you're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I just thought she was so pretty.
yeah. I like her. I like her character. Claudia is one of my favorites. I'm rooting for them to keep her for season 2. Like they don't have to go like buy the book for real. Like
No, I'd be totally excited if they don't kill her. Like they figure out
yeah,
some way to write her and keep her.
right.
So this is what I think. So even more than Lestat, I think Claudia is the most captivating um character that Anne Rice has ever written.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that, and I think if they were smart, they would keep her for more than just 2 seasons. I
Mm-hmm.
think if they were smart, they would keep her for 4 or 5 seasons, and then build something up. Something real tragic, something unforeseen.
She's
Um,
a better life than they had given her in that little child
yeah,
state. They've
Mm-hmm.
evolved her so much already.
yeah.
Yeah, let her go get some plastic surgery and get the body that she wants as a woman because that way she can still grow up and all that. But like honestly, Claudia is like she's like the homegirl that you deserve.
But
Like the
yeah,
best friend that you deserve. Because you know she's gonna have your back, you know she's gonna look out for you, you know she's not gonna let nobody play you, you know. So I really like that. And
she's with all the black girl magic.
yeah, Louis, I wish Louis would have did right by her.
I'm bitter. I'm bitter because I like her and I felt like she gets killed later on for your ass.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, if this
Oh,
was like the movie for real and was like the killer, I don't care. But I'm invested in the show now. I'm invested in the black characters. And
yeah,
I just to, that's the
yeah.
thing for me. If it was a little well, yeah. You can
Look,
edit that out.
just let the show play. I was gonna play. Don't mind me. I'm just tuning in. Well, thanks guys for coming. That's all I had for today.
All right, excellent.
Alrighty.
See y'all.